how is the nZEB legislation being implemented in your countries? How do you see this at the policy level, at an adoption level, at the investment part? What are the challenges? How did we come here? Where did it all start, and where are we going towards with regards to energy efficiency in buildings, with regards to passive houses? So this is what I think it's relevant to make a section and understand, okay, each country is at a certain level. It has got here through different challenges, and where is it going towards? Do we have a common future? What can we share from our experiences? And the first person I would like to invite to present is Dimitris. Tell us more about Greece.
Yes. First of all, thank you, Dragos, and thank you, all of you, Marius, for invitation. To answer your question, I think we all have together the same goal and the same targets, which are 15 kilowatt hours per square meter per year. This is a concrete number that we are following in Passive House. We have a certain goal, and we are not trying to reach A, B, C, D, the alphabet. So we're trying to reach numbers. Do you want me to go through the presentations or just conversation?
Free to choose.
I have been asked to present how things are going in Greece, so let's go through presentation. My initial topic here was that question, what is nZEB? This is a very good question for Greece, for a lot of countries. And the answer is no one knows what nZEB is at the end of the day in terms of number. So what we have is an EPC, like an energy certificate, with some letters, A, B, C, coming from a computer, so no one validates the performance. So imagine your life without numbers. How tall are you? How much does it cost? A, what's the consumption of your car? Not 4.4 liters, but A, B, C. So this is a main issue that we're facing. And the other issue that we're facing also in Greece is the topic of green buildings. Everyone wants a green building. Here, I think the same. So what is a green building is another question. I Google it, green buildings and sustainable buildings, and you see like this. So there is a question, do you need engineers or gardeners to have green buildings? Because at the moment, the green buildings we're having are gardens, horizontal or vertical. So we need to close the universities of engineering and to have universities of gardening. I don't blame the plants I have on my house, it's very, very important, but plants are not keeping houses warm or cold. So this was the initial presentation, but let's speak about Greek a bit, and I will answer my questions at the end. We are Hellenic Passive House Institute. We are a non-profit organization promoting Passive House the last 13 years. We have been taking part in many buildings worldwide. We have at the moment 2 accredited certifiers, and we are a group of more or less 45 people. 35 are located in Greece, and we have partners abroad. Some of them you can see here. We are working together in actual building projects. Yes, we have a clear vision, which is 3 things: create healthy buildings, educate public professional students, because we believe that knowledge is power, and create a culture of collaboration between students, between engineers and technicians. We are in constant fight, and a culture of collaboration between sections and countries. As you can see, for us it's highly important to exchange knowledge with our partners worldwide. And you can see here buildings from Greece, you can see here students, etc. Put it there, okay. So we are mainly doing 7 things: certification and consulting, training, research and development, international collaboration, dissemination, policy making, and software. So since 2009, we are having 3 main pillars: projects, real projects showing that research is applied. It's highly important for us. Research and development and education, market and policy. So, at the beginning, there was the Passive House Middle Ages in Greece. We started from 2009, and the first Passive House attempt, let's say, with Passive House PHPP 7 without cooling demand. Some of you remember that initial PHPP. So this was the first attempt. The second is that Stefan Palantzas established Passive House Institute in Greece, among with other partners, 2012. Then we had the first Passive House conference with more than 450 attendees. Then the first Passive House designer course. It was the official course from PHI, and we had 8 students. And then you can see here Alumil. It's a green company. The first certified product. Imagine that in Greece, the aluminum companies, manufacturers, up then, the 95% of windows were without thermal break, were cold aluminum frames. And our industry in aluminum is so harsh and so well prepared because we are producers. So we called our windows aluminums, like Pepsi or Coca-Cola. It's not Windows, the Greek name. So it was very good start from Alumil, and now there are 5 companies, 5 out of 6 companies that producing aluminum windows are certified products, and some of the best in the world in terms of U value. So back then we came to that we are trying for 5-6 years to convince the people, like, look, Passive House is good, don't worry, it works, etc. So there was a constant fight with everyone. No one believed that one building will need €1 per square meter for heating and cooling per year, so €100 per year. No one could believe that. Even in Greece, we have 8 months good weather. And then 2016 was the golden year. We have the first Passive House Enerfit Plus in the world. It was the first Passivistas project with more than 25 companies. We have monitored that former office of ours 7 years. When you see red line and dots, white dots are the PHPP study and the actual measurements, because to answer my first question, measurements are the most important thing for us to validate our work and not say, okay, look, take the certificate, you're fine, you have nZEB. So this is not. Then we have participated in the first European research project, CITPAS. Here I have to say that we have a very good collaboration with many countries in the Balkans, especially Romania through Pro-nZEB cluster and Horia, who is right here, but also Francesco, and also Dragomir Zane from Bulgaria, and Croatia with Bojan Milovanovic. So this is something that is not the first time that we meet all together, but we have worked together in many, many projects. And yes, 2016, we had the first ability to certify buildings. So 2017, many single family. We invest a lot of our time in projects. First project outside Greece, I put it because also Francesco was involved with Piero. 2019, we translated PHPP and Design PH coming into our life. I was intern in Passive House Institute. Wolfgang Heitz itself told me, stop looking at this research about Lambda, work in Design PH, and then I was to Dragos' office. If you remember, I said, Dragos, I will not take any of your time. Can I sit here and look what you do? Because he was a Design PH developer and expert. So it solved many problems, Design PH. 2020, we consultant certified mainly the biggest project in Munich with Gerard Valentin. And in 2020, we came up to the bigger, larger European research project which focuses on renovation solutions. The previous topic is highly important because renovation is the future. After 30 years, we will speak 90% about renovation, not new builds. So it's super important. So going faster a bit, 2020 to 25, we invest a lot in education. We did architectural competition with more than 600 students. We participate in 5 educational programs, some of our partners here. We provided consulting and training at the same time in many different countries. Goran also is here, we work together. But what we try to do is to train people to not need us, to do their work, to share our expertise while consulting, training also the people involved. So for bigger offices is something that we can offer and we like to offer. Since 2022 we are teaching in National Technical University of Athens, and since 2023 our Passive House Designer course has more than 350 hours, site visits, it's more like 9-month master thesis duration. And don't get me wrong, we consider this course the best in the world at the moment regarding Passive House.
Very modest of you.
Yes, it's the only thing that I'm not humble about. nZEB Roadshow, which is the start of that idea as well, which Horia and Marius did together. We did that also in Greece. Francesco did the same in Italy. So for us, it's highly important to also do the same. We created so many mock-ups for children. We trained more than 10,000 children in Greece in 10 cities. So for us, it's a good initiative. And I'm so happy to see that it's growing and growing in every different country, because that idea came from a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideas. So for us, children has the power to transfer the knowledge, and that's why we invest a lot of time to that kind of place. Research project, in project that we are together with PHI, we invest a lot how to renovate the buildings and streamline process. One part is prefabricating, one part is taking work in the office. What we take in the office is what we see in the image. What you design is what you need to implement. And this saves you time, raises the quality, and minimizes the mistakes. So this is the process that we are following. Again, there is, nZEB in Greece you can achieve with many different ways. One is that just put PV panels and you have A+ building. So we did the research through another project that we are together with PHI, Rem Plus Homes. The research was, let's put PV in every building in Athens. What will happen? 70% of the buildings are built before 1980, so uninsulated. So when the buildings are higher, and okay, this is a small image, you can understand from the research and the studies that even if you cover the whole roof, the PV, even in Greece, we have 370 days sun, can cover 80%, can cover 20% of the energy needed without taking into consideration demand response. So if you not reduce the energy to go to passive house, PV is nothing, especially now with net billing and not net metering anymore, when you cannot use as a battery the grid. So this is another topic. Yes, we have developed 11 tools, add-ons to PHPP. Some of them are tested also from PHI. Some we are testing ourselves. And we are trying in our projects to test also innovative systems to check if it's okay or not. Another idea that we are trying now is to provide circularity solutions. You spoke before about deconstructing buildings and reconstructing or reuse. This is an idea designed for deconstruction. Francesco has a lot to say about wooden constructions, I know. We try to involve prefabrication, and we have a lot of concrete buildings as well, so we need to do something about concrete. And last but not least, PHI have developed one of the, in my point of view, one of the most amazing tools. It's District PH. It's like a PHPP for the whole district. It's not so accurate like PHPP, but it's used for policy recommendations, for taking decisions, for decision-making processes. So this is something that we are doing currently for the city of Athens, which is 5 million city, and we're trying to find solutions. Design phase evolution, I go fast. We started from PHPP and Therm, and at the end of the day, in some projects, we have evolve our knowledge. We said we need to learn one more software per year. Last but not least, we are using software for CFD calculations to be more accurate in complex projects like hospitals. We did one in Thessaloniki, or abroad in Canada or United States. So all this process is providing a circle of designing. In my point of view, PHPP still remains the most accurate software in the world, because it not allows you a lot of place for errors. While dynamic simulations, CFD calculations, if you don't know how to put the boundaries, if you're not sure 100%, it's garbage in, garbage out. Yes, we try to do that kind of things. Sometimes even a passive house have some rooms which could have failures, like this lobby in that hospital, which is not shaded from the top. So you can see in the summer, even in a passive house, you have 31 degrees on the top, but below it's better. But this stratification is coming through that kind of analysis that we are trying to do in complex buildings. And we try to compare also the PHPP with Honeybee, which is an add-on to Grasshopper, and to check what is happening with nZEB Greek and with Passive House in the same building. As you can see, the inside temperature could be the same, 20 degrees, but the walls during the winter in an nZEB, if it's fan coil and not radiation, can remain 13 degrees, 12 degrees in the windows. So this is nZEB, and this is Passive House. And from interior, Passive House has 20 degrees, and nZEB has 13 degrees. So there is a huge difference on the quality. That's why we insist so much in numbers, we insist so much in training, so much in construction. And this is something that I would like to share, because all of us are trying the best in our countries, but no one will pay for that until they understand in the final builds or in the walls. We started from scratching because design is important, and we are coming up to...
Dimitris, we can actually feel your enthusiasm, and it's very contagious. I realize that I actually may have given you the most impossible task to show us your path from the beginning onwards, and to show us what is the future direction. But you have been so involved in so many things that yeah, maybe we can expand in a additional context. We should do 2 panels for what you have prepared. I'm just curious. You have like 50 slides, right?
It's the evolution, in my opinion, is that we and the engineers will take much more work in the office and less work in construction site. So this is, in my point of view, the evolution of design, like doing that. So just to go on and conclude and answering more your questions. This is something that it's a concept, so it looks like very beautiful and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's a box in a box design. So we are famous for the Greek islands and concrete, but this is just a box, so it's a passive house, but can be luxurious as well. And the future is collaboration, the future is exchange knowledge. We have did so many mistakes. We have collaborated with people in Turkey, Spain, worldwide, so we learned from them. This is highly important for us. We learned from some projects that there are like historical buildings we see, or schools, and we are trying to focus on that. And this is answering your question, because for us, this is the most important thing, to show that the circle has to start from the design and finishing with the measurements, validating the design. So if you don't go through that step, even in a passive house, starting from design, we have seen many passive houses failed. So this circle, we have created that circle, and we are developing a tool in order to bridge the gap between design and construction. And this is something that we should focus. Last but not least, we don't execute only expensive projects. We have also the Passivistas project in Greece, we had also some lack of sponsoring, and we install everything with our hands. We have 35 sponsors. This is a family, 8 families, very poor, and we said that we will renovate their home for free. And we, as a scientific community, need to think not only the most prestigious project, but also social housing, as you mentioned before, and as mentioned in the previous panel. So this is like a living lab for us, and bring us a lot of energy, and we're trying to share knowledge with even refugees. People are coming and ask for work, technicians that we are missing. So this is another future. It's either train workers or industrialize the whole construction. So this is the final, let's say, idea. Passive house is always nZEB. nZEB in my opinion, is, and according to legislation, is the worst possible building that someone can build in each country. So this is the true. So we need to focus on measurements and not be afraid to call it passive house, because passive house is providing measures. nZEB is giving in every country A, B, C, not numbers. So for me, this is the conclusion. The conclusion is that we are focusing on measurements, and we need to continue convincing others that to focus on the actual result.
Very well said. I can only agree with your final statements and with your presentation as well. We need measurements, we need proof, we need quality assurance, and these are topics that that interest us, and not only in Greece, I guess also in Italy. Francesco, what would you like to share from your experience so far with nZEB and Passive House?
Yes, so nice to be here among friends, among new partners, new collaborations might happen. Thank you for being here, and of course waiting for the party after the conclusion. You have already maybe followed my presentation before, so I will just tell you how things have been developing in the past years in Italy, and maybe there will be a lot of similarities to what Dimitris said, but the principle and the development have been the same. So I've been already explaining you in how many places in the world we have been working, so I'm skipping this. In Italy, Passive House has been growing rapidly in the past years, especially after the very first examples, which have been monitored, as Dimitris said, as well as certified, and through the testimonials that say, oh, look, we are really paying a few bills for energy, and this is true, then the movement is starting growing. So these are some of the building typologies we have been developing so far in Italy. So we go from the single family house to multi-family house. For instance, the first one above is done in CLT, this in the north, in Friuli. The second one is multi-family building, which is located in Putignano, like in Bari, Puglia. So a very warm climate, and has been developed with masonry, with bricks. The third one is a hotel. This has been realized in CLT at the Garda Lake, the very first in Italy, the second worldwide by a week, because PHI certified it 1 week before us. Then a renovation of an elderly house in Turin, school. We have been doing several schools in Italy, both in masonry as well as in timber construction system. Pizzeria, hotel. Not so easy to make a pizza oven so airtight, but we could try to motivate the guys to do it. Maybe there's a lack of new component, which is
only in Italy you would have such challenges, right?
Exactly. But we can get out the heat from the chimney to produce domestic hot water. Offices, social housing, retrofit, very huge, like 6,000 cubic meters, retrofitted up to the passive house level in our city where we are seated, which is Trento, close to the Alps. We are still waiting for some wineries. You know, Prosecco comes from Valdobbiadene, so we are full of these kind of examples, or piscina, so swimming pool. This is also a good example to be retrofitted. I know the one in Bamberg, you did it, and we are really trying to motivate municipalities, because these kind of building typologies will never pay back except the restaurants. So restaurants pay the losses of the swimming pool. So we should really invest definitely in energy efficiency in such buildings. So how the story started? I've been a free consultant for several years before founding Zephyr. Zephyr means Zero Energy and Passive House Institute for Research. In November 2011. In February next year, we have become one of the very first IFA affiliates, so the Passive House Institute affiliates in Italy. Then in August 2012, we have been translating the PHPP into Italian because, of course, as you maybe expect, we don't speak English very well in Italy, so designers are not very well motivated if they have to use an English tool, so we had to translate it. And in September, we started giving our very first Passive House course for designers, and until now we have been training more than 3,500 people in Italy from north to south for professionals. In October, same year, we've done a lot of things in 2012. I cannot imagine when I draw the timeline. We organized the very first Passive House conference in Italy, attended by 2,000 people. And you know Wolfgang Feist, the founder of Passive House Institute, so his wife, Vita Ebel, who is also working at PHI, was also representing PHI at the opening conference in Italy. So we had a lot of guys there attending the conference. And in parallel, we also decided to build up a mock-up, a real roaming Passive House module, which we called Biosphere. And since then on, we have been designing and realizing 2 and 3 similar modules. I've seen one just at the entrance, just coming here, same concept. In the second and third one, we also let people live in and giving interview before and after living there, in order also to have some feedbacks. And it was very nice because someone was telling us like, oh, it's very silent. I feel like in a wood, very pure air and so on. And some others were complaining for this because it's too silent. And it was very nice to address these issues and to understand how people live in, but mostly there were positive feedbacks. And we brought this module around Italy for 9,000 kilometers, and in order to show up that Passive House exists and work. And in May 2013, we gave a prize an award to a municipality, introducing for the very first time some financing, some financial support for those who wanted to certify a building according to the Passive House principles. And this was very important for us. We were also invited in Portugal, in Spain, to represent and to speak about this in Greece, because this helped also other countries to start this movement. I mean, of course, for the municipality, if they give some financial support, they receive less money. So why should they give some money for free for somebody else? I can tell you, because of attractiveness. Some people could decide, and have decided, in fact, to build a new house or to retrofit a house in their municipality just because they have this financial support, and therefore they also get some taxes back from these new citizens. And first hotel, as I said, in May 2013, and then we got the very first European projects. We participated as partners in Eurofit, which was also the occasion, also with PHI, to introduce into PHPP the step-by-step approach for the retrofits, and we were the Italian partners. So in March 2014, we translated and started giving the very first course for tradespersons. So we started from the professionals, then to the tradespersons, because also we wanted not to have a lack of professionality in the whole building and the building process chain, let's say. So September 2014, we certified the very first Passive House school. And then after professionals and tradespersons, we wanted also to have some components certified and available in the country, also to stimulate the microeconomy and having them as partners also in our turn to promote Passive House. So first, Passive House window. Then PHP 9 came out, we translated it. It took us a year to get to the end, so it was very, an amazing difference compared to PHP 7. So in 2014, another project, we were also partner, and Biosphere 2.0, and then we started opening the market also, not only to Italy, but also to some other foreign countries, such as Canada, Dubai, Spain, and so on, library, and so on. And also a multi-purpose building in Italy, and then we started working in South Asia, like in India. I've been to New Delhi working with them. In Bhutan, we have been traveling for more than a year. It's great. It's very, it's very nice. And then October 2017, I decided to write a book. Because what happened in the meantime? A lot of professionals came out, very motivated, but indeed they didn't use their professionality to offer Passive House. They just rely on the fact that they were sitting on a Passive House certificate title, let's say, I'm a Passive House designer, and not offering Passive House. Why not? Because in Italy we have had the liberalization of the architectural fee. So there's no fee, there's no minimum fee in Italy. So everyone can offer less. And what happened in the meantime, everyone is offering less and less. Thus, the quality of the designers has been constantly decreasing in the years. So I said, okay, let's write a book, a technical book, in order for these professionals to jump in again and try to motivate them, but never succeeded in doing this. But nevertheless, we tried. So January 2019, first multifamily building in Italy, and then office building at the Adriatic coast in Pesaro, and then a retrofit of some skyscrapers in Trento. Then other European projects, and then still some retrofits, for instance, in Canada, some huge building, and then modular projects, not only Biosphere, but also, for instance, a project for, caserma of the army.
Military compound.
Military, yeah. And so ground school, and nZEB Roadshow, another European project to show how Passive House works. And then we started also professionals, tradespersons, components, and also building construction system, very important. And this one has been done with straw bales. Not that easy to calculate, but together with PHI, with Adrian, and other guys, we managed to bring the certification to the end. And then last year, in April, we got the first Passive House certification for apartments, so NRFIT unit. And now the most recent update, I put it there, the update for Design PH in Italian, available in the next update. And then a school in Mallorca, and other projects, and then also commissioning for some LEED certified buildings, and trying to introduce Passive House also combined with LEED certification. I was yesterday at the Terme here in Bucharest, and I saw LEED Platinum, and I say, okay, I'm in vacation and LEED again. And it's also nice to combine Passive House with this approach. And also in some other countries, such as in the southwestern Australia, a very warm and humid climate like Perth. Not that easy to go with the timber construction, but we have done this as well as in Vancouver, and in Toronto, other projects, and in Malta, and recently in California as well. So just to come to the end, what are the challenges we had to face in the past years, which is, I explained it and told you like a beautiful story, but it's not that easy. I've been struggling really for 18 years trying to motivate people to go with Passive House, but of course we had some difficulties. So in Italy, markets are heavily dependent on incentives. People do not move anything if it's not compulsory, if there's no financing scheme. So what did we do? We developed a marketing department, also especially for communicating a cost-optimal approach also to our services in order to convince people that Passive House is indeed viable. Parallel to this, a lot of training, and we have a lot of preconception about energy efficiency, because Passive houses are too expensive, because we have usage restrictions, like Dimitris was showing us before. Everybody is crazy, is convicted somehow, which is not true. I cannot open the window, and blah, blah, blah. And that's why we developed a support scheme for builders, for architects, and so on, in order to help them in every point, also with the end customers, which is very important. Otherwise, there's a missing gap between what we are training and designers acting in the market. And also economic accessibility of initial design extra costs, which unbelievably has been tackled, has been solved by going to BIM. BIM, as Dimitris was showing before, of course, in the initial phase might be more expensive, or let's say more time-consuming. No, not really expensive, but time-consuming. It lasts a little bit, but then it solves everything in the construction process, in the for the cost analysis, bill of quantity, everything. You see it also 3D, and you can communicate inside the same platform with everybody else. So we are really implementing this also in our design currently. And then another good point is, for instance, Windows. I've been working with Windows manufacturers since more than 15 years, and we have seen then that even though we plan it correctly, the installation is lacking most of the time. So luckily in Italy, there are some Italian norms which allow to certify through an EQF levels, like European qualification level, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is the maximum level for an installer. And this guy has really the ability to address air tightness, correct thermal bridge installation, and so on, thermal bridge free installation, and so on. But the missing point, the lacking point, is still the designer. So for the designers who cannot maybe address the thermal bridges properly, we decided to create a sort of thermal bridge catalog that you are also going to speak maybe afterwards, or also last year we've been speaking about this for designers, but specific for the single window supplier, not generic, so that the designer can choose the supplier and having all the thermal bridges for free, more or less, let's say. And so the accessibility, economic accessibility, we already spoke about this. And also the limits of Italian universities to explain how to sell things. I know that selling is usually regarded as a dirty thing, you know, but if you don't sell, if you don't have the ability to communicate it properly, you cannot sell it properly also to the end customers. So, and architects, designers do not have this ability, and therefore we want to create a portal which is mainly focused for the end customers, sort of blog, which helps them understand how passive house can be approached and so on. So thank you for listening to me, and thank you for being in this great audience today. Feedbacks and
Thank
so
you for sharing. And we are not done yet because I think a debate is about to start, hopefully. But Francesco, thank you. It was very enlightening to see the amount of work that has been put in the last years from you, your team, and the Passive House community in Italy. I cannot help notice that the early adopters of the energy efficiency and passive house mantra in Greece and in Italy are two building physicists. So it's kind of interesting to see that it made sense for you. And you went on this crazy path, this huge challenge to implement, to train, to educate, to expand. And you mentioned a lot of good points, that communication is key, marketing is very important, and we see this here, the wonderful job that Marius is doing through such events, and the Romanian Passive House Association as well. I will have to talk about it a little bit later. So finding the right communication vectors is one of the most important parts. I would like to invite Petric to share some of his experience in Kosovo, and in this very close region of the world. Do people know about Passive House? Have people heard about nZEB? What is the atmosphere there?
Thank you, Dragos. Firstly, I want to thank you for gathering us together here. It's a good opportunity, and it's a pleasure for me to be part of this panel. So I wanted to start my, let's say, presentation. I don't have a visual presentation with the current situation in Kosovo regarding energy efficiency. But since we were in a, let's say, subject of Passive House, I will start with that, our history in Kosovo with Passive House. I had the opportunity to be, let's say, introduced to Passive House standard in 2008 when I attended, let's say, a workshop in Austria, together with my colleague who is sitting here, Stefan. This was in our early, let's say, professional activities and my master studies. My intention was to introduce Passive House to architect community in Kosovo and also to our institution at that time. But it was pretty hard to push that idea because it was something very developed compared to what we were designing and building and constructing in Kosovo. So in cooperation with Passive House Institute, in 2009 and 2010, during this period of time, we decided to give a chance to translate the PHPP in Albanian language, so maybe it will be easier for our community, architects and engineers, to get into. So I spent one and a half year on translating that. I did it by myself, by consulting with some of my colleagues, and we achieved to translate it in Albanian, but unfortunately, still institutions were not ready to implement something like that. So after two other attempts to start and design two passive house buildings in Kosovo, in Suhareca and Pristina, when unfortunately municipalities were not ready to support that idea, then I decided, after I started my academic work in university, I decided at that moment that I think that community is not ready, so we're going to create a young community that will know Passive House principles and standard. So I pushed this idea to put it in our curricula in our university in two courses, in building physics and also in building energy efficiency and environment, where in our syllabus we put all the Passive House principles and criteria, but also many projects implemented in Europe to see that there is no big difference in process of constructing passive houses. It's just being, precise in calculations and how we do that. So this had its effect because for 10 years now teaching that and lecturing these courses, I can see the difference in our community, architects community, because new architects are well known now with or familiar with this standard, which makes it easier now in parallel to start the trainings or let's say courses to certify new designers. So currently we are in discussion with our partners and colleagues to start first steps on designing retrofitting process of buildings, maybe only one pilot project in Kosovo, through Kosovo Energy Efficiency Fund, where we have plenty of funds to renovate public buildings for the moment. Aside this, I would like just to...
You are managing this fund, right? So
I'm a director of Department of Operation.
So you are the person who says you get the funding, you don't get the
Yes.
funding. This is a key position to have.
No, I will not decide who will be funded, but I've been pushing the idea during this 1.5 year since I'm part of the fund. Kosovo Energy Efficiency Fund is established and created based on a law on energy efficiency in Kosovo, which is official now as a law and is being implemented. So this accelerated the investment in building energy efficiency in Kosovo, because this, let's say, fund is independent, non-budgetary, so politics do not have effect on it. And we've been investing for 5 years now approximately 34 million euros in retrofitting buildings. We started with public buildings using the revolving scheme, where we invest in renovating the municipal buildings or municipally owned buildings, and within 15 years we get back all the investment from the energy saving. And in this way we create an independent fund in terms of finances.
Self-financing fund based on energy savings from prior investments.
Yes.
Okay. This is very interesting.
Yeah, we make a public call where all municipalities can apply with their buildings. We offer let's say energy audit of each building, and then we present all the scenarios which are most suitable for these municipalities in terms also of finance. And then when they decide, we procure the whole process of renovation till technical acceptance of the building. And at that moment, the municipalities will start paying back the money within 15 years. And in this way, we work as an ESCO company. But it is a public company. Regarding our regulatory framework, now we have our energy efficiency law and also law in energy performance of buildings, based on which we are now developing and completing our secondary regulation framework, where we, for example, started with regulation for building energy audits. Now we are almost completing the EPC procedures for energy performance certificate, for which we created a national registry, which is an online platform managed by the Ministry for Environment and Spatial Planning, where all the certificates will be issued by a software used by an assessor, but the certificate will be issued after going through the online platform and then being issued, so institution will have control on it, not to be manipulated as the documents.
Like a quality check, so to say.
Quality check, yes.
That
This
is very
platform will
interesting.
be used not only for EPCs, but everything that has to do with energy efficiency and reporting of energy savings after retrofitting projects.
Okay, so now you have the legislative framework, you have the context. you seem to have the money. So then,
Yes.
what's the
Let's say the existing obstacle that we have is nZEB, because according to law on building energy performance, we have a regulation then for nZEB, but the problem is how to define nZEB. We were checking and we are analyzing the neighboring country and the countries from the region, how they define nZEB. This is the first obstacle. The second obstacle is that we have a regulation for prosumers, individuals or institutions or companies that install PVs. This regulation sets a limitation how much can you produce energy. For example, for a single family house, you cannot install more than 7.5 kilowatt power PVs. And this is contradictory with nZEB. So now we have to harmonize all these regulations so we can open a way for nZEB. But I'm hoping that before doing that, we will convince them that passive house is the solution that covers also nZEB.
go big? This would have been my recommendation as well, to aim as high as you can get. But okay, it needs to still be close to manageable and real.
Yeah, so this is the current situation, let's say, and we are planning to finish this harmonization of regulations. Unfortunately, we don't have, let's say, a parliament for the moment because we finished our elections and they are still negotiating, so everything has to go through commissions and also through parliament to be approved. So this might take time till 2026, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's quite interesting to see that Kosovo is coming strong, surely, but slowly but surely. And somehow I see that we are facing similar challenges in our environments, in our contexts, and yeah, finding solutions together through the cultural filter, because every culture has their own way of doing stuff. Some are interested in some aspects more than others. Some have more heritage buildings than others. We have a common, so to say, connection, and that is a passion for energy efficiency and for things that make sense. So I would be curious to see what Goran has to say about this from his experience in Serbia.
Hi everyone, nice to be here and thank you for the invitation. I want to thank you also the organizers. We met last year in Innsbruck and then everything started there. First of all, I actually noticed that all of us are in one story. That is, we have a common thing that we are actually we're so optimistic that we are enthusiasts, and we were also 15 years ago, 2008, we started to work with translating PHPP. I used to call that time prehistoric time, because at that time we didn't have any regulation in Serbia. We started with the PHPP 7, with translating into Serbian, just to be close to the engineers. At that time, idea was to spread idea among engineers and then to make that critical mass for changes. And it took a couple of years. 2011, we published that Serbian version, and the next 2 years we have very intensive courses for using PHPP and some basic things in passive house designing. And unfortunately, after these 2-3 years, things changed in a couple different, I'd say, paths. State introduced the first law of energy efficiency, and we expected that it will be the good chance to develop further, but it actually that situation shows our character on Balkan, that people very often use that easiest way just to get the stamp for the National Chamber of Engineers.
The path of least resistance, right?
Yeah, not to really to learn something, but to get the stamp. And the situation was actually after that changed a little bit, but we actually after 2011 we started we expand our competitions, started to dealing with the blower door test measurements, because realized that only this experience in measurement can help us to understand better actually what is in project, what is designed, what is built, and also to check the quality at the end, to have that answer, to have that feedback, and then to improve whole process. Apart from blow door, we also dealing with thermography. It means energy audit, every kind of buildings. After a couple of years of working, some producers, window producers, also recognize the possibilities on the market, and we improve some project in cooperation with them. We help them to improve air tightness and solve some, some obstacles that they have in constructions of sliding doors, for example. And really, it was a good idea. And actually, we make some protocols to make some mock-up rooms, and then to check everything, and the end to make, as you mentioned today, Dimitris, at the end to make a final blow door test. It helps a lot. Apart from it, what more? And that community of engineers is now in Serbia around 200-300 people that has some knowledge about passive houses, but it is actually things that we have in common, but what is different? Our society, specifics of our society. And I will tell something about that. The first law about energy efficiency and under law regulations were adopted in 2011, and from 2012 actually was mandatory to do energy certificates after construction works, and also do the calculation for energy, actually calculations for building permits. It started to 2012. And the big thing that was that time defined, the category of the passive house. Actually, we have it in law, passive house.
Seriously?
Yeah, we have it from the first time. Yeah. We have the law, but the implementation is... there is written passive house has a consumption from 15 kilowatt hours per square meter. This is only one criteria, but it's there.
This is a tremendous work. I think it's amazing. None of us have that, and we all dream about somehow positioning an energy efficient building like a passive house next to the national legislation. Nobody wants to change it. They just want to say, and passive house. Give subsidies to energy efficient buildings, nZEBs, and passive house. But you already have it.
We have it already more than 10 years. But it's written somewhere there, and no one actually take care about it. And this is it. This is actually the context is more complex. And actually, these days we are in this first phase actually is from 2012, and usually for new buildings threshold is 60 kilowatt hours per square meter for the new buildings. But for the old one, we have to improve for the one step to be better. It means 30% of improvement in general. And actually, the second process of improvement of regulation started a couple years ago. It lasts already, I think, 3-4 years. I think that already all regulations are prepared. It means methodology will be improved, that not only energy for heating will be calculated, but also cooling and all energies in the object. Because at that time, they took only the part of the regulations and choose only energy for heating to be a reference for the energy class. And it will be, how to say, it will be the big change in the methodology, and I think also in the way of the thinking. And what are the more obstacles? I think that the most important thing is the energy price. I think this is the big difference between our countries, that the energy price in Serbia is still around 10 euro cents per kilowatt hour of electricity.
Very low, very low.
And in that situation, people are not motivated to do anything. Mainly.
The carrot and stick approach is good from both sides. On one hand, the carrot would be the energy prices, and the stick would be the energy prices, and the carrot would be some financing, some subsidies for truly energy efficient buildings.
Yeah, this is the second part I will tell later on, but for the housing, this is very important, because in the most people, 30%, around 30% are using electricity for heating. Other 30-40% are wood and coal, and only I think 20% is district heating. But the big change is coming at the end of this year. District heating will charge according to the kilowatt hours, according to the real consumption. It will be the big change, because it means that the bills will be 2-3 times higher for sure. We will see, because at the end
it will be a reality check for everybody.
Because at the end of the day, everything is politics. Depends a lot from that political point of view.
Well, thank you so much.
I want to add one more thing that is also actually shows in couple years ago, that this climate change is influencing Serbia and this central Balkan region very, very, how to say, so much, maybe bigger than other regions. And we make last year one calculation. Dimitris helped us, and we make one calculation for one hotel in the center of Belgrade in PHPP, and really results were very, how to say, annoying. It means that heating island that is created in the city centers influenced so much the energy calculation. It means that costs for the cooling were higher than heating costs, 10-20%.
Well, this is an existing drama that is happening. So the heat island effect is present in all the major cities. Bucharest is one good example for that. And the good part is we can simulate it in PHPP 10. So we can actually see how the building will behave in a future scenario, which may be closer to us than we want to believe, and to design or renovate the buildings in order to make them resilient enough to do that. So it's good that we try to find solutions, that we acknowledge the challenges. I see a lot of challenges going on around, and we all have.
And one more thing, sorry I'm interrupting you, that things in also last 1-2 years, that actually new initiative came from the banks for the financial sector, that they want actually to invest. And apart that we have passive housing law, we do not have still nZEB, and it makes also some problems. But funds came to Serbia, and now pushing investors, not for the housing, but for the retails, for the offices. Green loans are really new possibilities for them, and now atmosphere is that financial sector actually make new initiative, and I think that maybe it could be new start for the future development.
New motivation.
New
yeah,
motivation,
New motivation. Where there is money, there is motivation. It's very interesting to see how practically you had grassroots movements towards energy efficiency and passive house in your countries, and comparing this to our previous discussions with Yasemin, it's a bit different, because Yasemin, from what I have realized so far, is going from the policy level down. So it's a new and bold attitude towards tackling these challenges. And Yasemin, I would like to invite you to tell us how are you managing this in a new, reinvented way? What are your challenges, and how is it in Turkey with energy efficiency and passive house?
Thank you so much, Dragos. And I will be checking my notes so I don't make any mistakes with the terminology. With this discussion, I would like to raise the question if we are able to close the gap between the national ambition and the practicality of building performance. I first would like to look at the chronological journey of Turkey in terms of energy efficiency, what we have been doing. So actually in year 2007, we had our energy efficiency law, and with this law, the essential tools were introduced, and these were the mandatory energy audits, appointment of energy managers, and the launch of energy identity certificates to evaluate and classify buildings' energy performance. So this law became the backbone of all the other actions taken from that date on. And already 1 year later, we had the Building Energy Performance Regulation, and this made the law operational. So with this regulation, we got the performance-based energy classification system from A to G. Then we did compulsory to be a Class C for all the new buildings. And then we had the regional climate zones and benchmarks defined. And also we had a national digital platform called the BEP-TR. And then between 2017 and 2023, we had our first National Energy Efficiency Action Plan. This national plan set the goals for retrofits, training programs, and public sector leadership in efficiency. And then after this action plan was completed, as of 2023, up to 2030, we have our second national action plan for energy efficiency. And in this action plan, digitalization is introduced, smart building concept is introduced, and also nearly zero energy buildings concept is also introduced. So actually we have this in our legislation. Now we have the nearly zero energy buildings in our actions. And as of January 2023, it was compulsory that buildings above 5,000 square meters had to achieve at least the energy class of B, which refers to 78 to 120 kilowatt hour per square meter per year. And they had to source their energy from 5% renewable energy. And when we talk about renewable energy, it is impossible to compensate it all from photovoltaic panels or wind energy because of the footprint of the buildings. So heat pumps are also included in renewable energy in our regulation. And as of 1st January 2015, the standards went even further. So any building which is about 2,000 square meters has to be built with nearly zero energy building concept, and the share of the renewable energy has raised up to 10%. So it's coming there. I mean, gradually, bit by bit, we have been putting this into the regulations. Actually, the passive house buildings constantly exceed these figures. So this means that nearly zero energy buildings are not a target. They are already in action. They are already being applied. So this is a very crucial point to perhaps bring out to the people. And also very important, in 2024, Turkey updated the national standard for thermal insulation, the TSE 825-2024. So actually you will see at the scene also how radically the U values for the external wall, for the roof, for the ground floor and windows has went down 50%. Still, the passive house U values are even better than this, but now we have in our legislation that you have to achieve these U values. Again,
Are they somehow climate-based? Because I know Turkey has different climate zones, or are they universal for every climate zone?
Very nice question. Actually, the U values are changing. The wall, roof, and floor U values change. But interestingly, for the windows, it's the same for all the zones. Coming back to the zones, previously we had 4 zones defined in the national thermal regulation, but now we have 6. And previously, we were only calculating the heating degree days. But now, as of 2024, we are also calculating the cooling degree days, which is, I think, very important, and which you also pinpointed. With the climate change, it is very, very important to include the cooling degree days to the projects. And then, a very interesting other point is that with our national thermal insulation regulation, for the first time, the air tightness and thermal insulation is also placed in the regulation. It may not be as courageous like in passive house, but it is there, and the mechanical engineers have to make the calculations now.
Okay, so it will be mandatory to install a mechanical, to have an airtight envelope and the benchmark, to test it?
Yes, I mean, Turkey is taking these radical steps. And also, very interestingly, the sun breakers and the prevention of sun rays penetrating to the window is also now a must as of 2024. As of course defined, we don't have the exact figures, we don't have the exact numbers, but we have the concept, we have the idea, and then it's going to become, of course, more and more strict. And now, where we want to take the pride as the Zero Energy and Passive House Association of Turkey is at the below of the chart. So while all this has been happening in Turkey in terms of regulation, the association was established in the year 2012, and from the establishment until 2015, the association took its time to build up the strategy, what to do, how to communicate with Passive House Institute, with the International Passive House Association, with other affiliates. And then, as of 2025, we had our first English designer and consultant training course, which was boosted by the Hellenic Passive House Institute. And then, within the first year, we had our first public building certified, both in new and in retrofit. And then, 6 years later, we translated the designer and consultant course materials to Turkish, and we started giving the courses in Turkish, which made the real jump in Turkey, because not all the people who are good in the construction business and in project designing know a foreign language. So once we translated to Turkish, this made a huge jump, and within the that year, the same year, we started certifying the components, and this was a jump for the Turkish producers because now they are in the international supply chain. And also I would like to underline that the PVC company, once they got the certification, they got their first order from Latin America, a whole ship. So it was a win-win situation. And 1 year later, we got our certification for the aluminum window frames. And then we started getting the residence certifications for new and also plus. And now, as of 2023, the passive houses are not a niche in Turkey. They are scalable and applicable standards. And then in 2024, we became the co-leader of a European Union funded project, the Turkey Sustainable Buildings Network. And this is, again, a turning point for disseminating the standards. One of the most important step is training the 50 decision makers. So when I mean the decision makers, I'm talking about people in the ministries, in the municipalities, and the professors in academia. So far we have trained 17 out of 50. The head of the department of the international funds of the Ministry of Urbanization, Environment and Climate Change, that was a big step. Yes, that was a huge step for us. Many municipality representatives, many universities from all different parts of Turkey, and then people from the private sector. We have been bringing delegations to Passive House Conference. That was a huge step. And next year we are going to again bring a big delegation from Turkey to the conference. And then we have a good practices library. And we are going to make a hackathon among the university students next year. So that is going to be the future step. And we have worked hard with our PHPP translation to Turkish. And next week we are getting the PHPP 10 in the market. So that was a huge step. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And actually, Europe is becoming climate neutral in 2050, and Turkey has a 3 years more time for that. So in 2053, we are aiming to be net zero. And this is our journey and how our association has been working hand in hand with the government and trying to push these standards in the regulations.
Oh, it's amazing how, at least here on this chart, you can see the synergies between the two parallel movements. On one hand, legislation, and on the other hand, private organizations such as the Turkish Passive House Association, how you reacted or acted in proactively towards encouraging the market to go in the right direction. It's very good to see. Thank you so much, Yasmin. I think I should change the hats now, and because we have been hearing a lot of interesting stories about our neighboring countries, I should share some information about Romania. As a member of the Romanian Passive House Association and of the Passive House movement, I can only say that our road was very similar and is very similar with what you guys have been going through. Our Passive House history started somewhere around 2015 with a rebel, Marius Șoflete, who recently finished the solar decathlon competition, and he was energized and wanted to continue this path towards energy efficiency. And he got his first contract to build a passive house, to design a passive house. And that is when I met him. And this is how the first passive house building was born in Romania. He was the engine, he still is the engine behind it, together with other dedicated people. And it was a nice story. I think it deserves its own panel, just to say that it was constructed by volunteers, architects and engineers and students that actually wanted to learn how to, a hands-on experience, and came unpaid to the construction site. Only food was provided in order to have this experience. And since then, a lot of things happened. The association was born, the Romanian Passive House Association, who now has roughly 60 members. A lot of good and dedicated people we met along the way, such as representatives of the Romanian Research Institute in Building Science, who shouldered in and translated the PHPP. Horia Petran is here, and he's one of the good guys that actually supports us in a lot of our initiatives. Then we have the Romanian Chamber of Architects, who is our partner in organizing the the Passive House Designer courses. So somehow we stumbled upon people that were interested and wanted to develop this knowledge and this energy efficiency in Romania. So partnering up with such credible organizations led us from a niche type of initiative to a wider audience, and organizing the courses, so going through the training, translating as much materials as we can, putting in the work, has led to, I think, 22 plus certified passive houses, not only residential in Romania, and around 43 are now in progress in different stages of construction. So things are looking good, and let's look where we are, right? We are at an event that has gathered so much attention, and here I would like to focus on communication skills. We need people that can translate the building physics to regular, normal human beings that are interested, but they don't know what are the benefits, how much will it cost, why not, yeah, it's a very nice, interesting journey to be on, and I'm only grateful that we have such companions and we can share our frustrations and also our success together. So I would invite you in the final minutes of this panel to say a closing statement with regards to where would you like to see this movement go further? What is your next step? Yeah, keep it short. Everybody has 1 minute.
Well, yes, it's really interesting. What I would like to focus is that we need to bridge the gap between all of us, between academia, between engineers, between technicians. And Passive House is not like just a building physics concept. It mandates you to collaborate. If I don't collaborate with a technician, I either have to do my hands, like you said about Marius, which I saw in the video that we try to do, or not achieve. So I would just focus on collaboration, bridge the gap between all of us. All of us are needed, and no one should be away from that path.
So we have been, and also be in touch with the, let's say, Western, southwestern Mediterranean area, and so we are sitting in the middle as Italy, and nice to collaborate from Portugal to Turkey and so on. We have been discussing a lot about creating a Mediterranean platform and so on. I don't believe this is the answer. We tried several times to set it up, but instead of creating further umbrella organization or whatever that brings nothing, I would suggest to, this is my opinion, to build and to retrofit. This, I mean, that's the most important thing to do. Examples, build examples that work. That's the most important thing. And of course, we all can support each other through our experience and so on. So don't be scared about jumping on the energy efficiency. We are here to support you, and there's nothing else to be invented. Everything is available.
I think except our expertise doing all the calculations, designing, being focused on that, I think it's our duty also to raise the awareness towards citizens and those who will invest. Because without those investments, it will be impossible to implement our projects. So we have somehow to balance our expertise, but not forgetting that it's our job also to convince people that this is the way to save energy, not only in general manner, but also increasing their commodity in their house in terms of health, in terms of sanitary manners.
Yes, it's hard to say, but not to repeat the ideas, but I think that communication is very important. Last year in Innsbruck, I saw Marius for the first time, and really he changed the things there, and it was a big ovation after his presentation. And I think that all of us understand that the way of communication maybe is most important, because technical things are already here, we know that, but how to communicate with the citizens.
For us, nothing is new. We know it, we believe it, we have experienced it, but sharing this can be a quite challenge. I like the way you said it, Francesco. Everything is already here. We don't need to invent anything else. We cannot invent anything else because the laws of physics are the same. Jasmine?
There are 2 points I would like to make. First one is knowledge is here. Everybody knows now what to do. We have to pull down the return of investment. And I'm really very excited to be here because I did not expect such an event and such an expo. I really like it and I really appreciate a lot. And I would love to see in the coming years that in the region, in the Balkans, in the Mediterranean, we can collaborate with this expo and bring more producers, so the return of investment will go down, and this will enable designers and contractors to build more. And the second is we have to convince the financiers to work with us, because at the end of the year, seeing how much profit the banks and insurance companies are doing is quite upsetting for me, because this is our money, this is the society's money, and we have to convince them to work with us. And we have to use this money not for lavish lifestyle, not for things which are not for the benefit of the society or the environment. We have to find the way. And ESCO model, I think, is going to become more and more important, as Petri just mentioned with one word. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. It has been a lovely trip, and I hope fruitful exchange of information between passionate people that hopefully is going to inspire you to be active and build passive. That would be the closing statement from my side. I would like to thank you for bearing with us, listening to us. I would like to thank you for being here and for sharing your expertise. And we are going to start the party quite soon. We still have, I think, 2 more statements to do. And in order to get the show going, let's all take a short a short moment to